All right, welcome everybody to the Nick's Boots from Start to Finish podcast. Q&A Volume 9, general questions. Feel free to go where the conversation naturally leads. Listeners like to hear personality. Okay?
Is that the whole title?
All right?
Sounds good.
Agreed?
Yeah.
All right.
They also like to see faces. So
Like to see faces. Yes, I apologize, everybody. I was hiding behind my microphone last time. I'm Shuyler.
Nice to meet you.
No. Hi.
What do you guys do here?
I'm Luke.
I'm also Luke.
Yeah.
Lucas.
Yep.
Yeah. I work in small leather goods.
Okay. So we've got some new nicknames.
Oh, God.
Well, I just want to make sure everybody's okay with them because, sometimes I can do things and it's out of exuberance and it's fun, but sometimes, not everybody's on board. So are we okay with those nicknames?
I don't hate it. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Because you were nuclear a little bit
I
last week.
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. And then,
You earned your nickname. You
Yeah,
did.
which is weird because I'm never that way.
No.
So.
No. And then you, Sassburger.
I don't know why you would call me that. I'm not sassy at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think it works.
Sarcasm.
Yeah.
Sarcasm too. It comes through.
No, I don't mind. The only person who gets under my skin when they call me sassy is my brother.
Okay.
Sark's Burger.
He knows how to get under my skin.
Sounds like
always
your
do.
brother, yeah.
They always do.
Yeah.
They always do. All right, well, let's get to it. Well, actually, I skipped a step, and I'm sorry.
Uh-oh. What are we skipping?
How has the week been going?
It's been going good.
Yeah, we're hustling here a little
It's
bit.
been,
Yeah.
been busy.
Busy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Today especially.
Short week,
Like
kind of cramming everything in.
Yeah.
Got a lot of stuff launching this weekend.
It's only Tuesday, and I feel like
only
it's been a whole
Tuesday.
week.
I know, I couldn't believe yesterday was Monday. I was like, at the end of the day, just felt like a lot had happened. But
It's Friday, everybody. Good. Yeah.
Hey, at least we, tomorrow's kind of our Friday. Got Thanksgiving coming.
sort of, yeah. But then we got to come back.
We do.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to the questions, everybody. First one is, you guys clamor for this every time. Any news on another Horween 8, Color 8, CXL rerun? I really need it. Sure. We'll probably do it. I don't know.
If people buy it.
Well, so we did. Yeah, we did it, and you guys didn't buy it.
That's what happens every time. It's
I know.
it seems like we get a ton of requests for number 8 CXL, and then we're like, all right, we got a bunch, and then no one buys it.
Same thing with all of CXL.
Yeah. I think it's just those colors outside of the brown and black spectrum are like, you either really like it or you really don't.
Yep. Well, Color 8, burgundy, I think, is a little more traditional than maybe a green, but
I'm pretty surprised how much of the oxblood and the olive
'Cause that is
bison is flying through.
that is red and that is green. Yes. The Christmas boots, as we call them.
Yeah.
It's that time of year.
We should do a two-tone.
Well,
Red
I
and
just
green.
also don't understand, if you really I don't get why Color 8 is preferred over a burgundy double stuff. The burgundy
true.
double stuff is,
That's a really
frankly,
nice one. Yeah.
it's more expensive. I get that.
Yeah.
It's very pretty.
It's the
though.
name. I don't know.
It's very pretty.
It's the number 8.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the number 8.
It is a cool name.
Yeah.
Color 8.
Color 8.
We need to just start naming our leathers numbers.
Yeah. Well,
Number
that's what
36.
a lot of the big boot companies do, right?
Like 64 brown.
True.
Maybe that's why it's so popular.
True. The Brandle will be called the 1925. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, sure. Okay, fine.
I guess.
We'll bring it in.
Flooring us down.
Yep. Any leathers you are pretty sure you would not consider carrying regularly.
Number 8.
How about as a
And
special
olive.
run? Can you talk about your process for considering, finding, testing out new potential options? So for colorways, I would say there's probably not a ton of testing that goes into it. We generally kind of trust that the tannery is going to make it in a similar way. Obviously, we'll get a sample, we'll make a boot, we'll see how it looks, and maybe, put it through its paces for a week or two. It's often so we have an employee boot program, and often employees will see some of the samples that we come in with and be like, oh, I really like that. Can I make my sample boot in this? and then begins a negotiation around what configuration they're going to get, because we're going to use it as a photo boot. So you can't get too crazy. It's got to be like kind of a mainstream makeup. Luke is probably the biggest violator of this convention, I would say.
Even his stock Falcons he's got on right now, there's a couple things.
There's a couple little tweaks.
I don't think it was on purpose, though.
Oh, really?
Taking them home and doing the edge dressing yourself wasn't on purpose.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, just because I don't trust the.
I mean, we did talk about this.
Yeah. I like to do that, but
No, I'm sorry. I mean, you like to make your boots.
No, but these boots I'm wearing now were like 5 different iterations of boots that I wanted to get over the last year. I ordered these in February, so I left a brown edge by accident from a previous boot build that I was going to do. So, and then that's what got put on back there. So,
do you feel like you have any mistakes that you've made over the years?
Some mistakes, lots of mistakes,
specifically with your boot collection.
With
Not
my
in
boot,
general.
yeah. Toe cap on my Falcon, not a huge fan of. And the sole that I found in the back room for my Aldert Striders cracked after a month.
Sometimes there are happy accidents though.
Yeah.
Or genius comes through, like your LL64s.
Yeah. No mistakes there.
No, championship really. Yeah. Put it on the board.
Yeah. Award winning
5-inch boot, little bit of a different pattern. What was different about the pattern?
I just shortened the heel counters a little bit. I shortened the height. That was about it. It's just because I don't know.
Which sounds easy, but it's not as easy.
It's not. No, it was not easy.
No, especially because it's easy to do when you're building one size of boot. But then when we have it as a full production run, and you have to make sure that heel counter sits the same place from size 4 to 14.
Because guess who was tasked with doing that?
You.
Me, exactly. Yeah.
Well, you deserved it.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you were doing that.
Yeah.
We ordered it.
We ordered all new dies for it.
Yeah. No, I mean when he initially did it, right?
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Like people were like, well, Nix is like conspiring or something like that to win this contest, and I'm like, yes, it does seem like an unfair advantage to have a boot company employee make their own custom version, and then take like the most scarred portion of the hide and make it very visually interesting. That does seem like a leg up to me. But I had no idea this was happening. Yeah. He just did it.
I don't know if we've talked about it publicly, like on our podcast. We might have hinted at it, but I got in so much trouble because of your boots from Shuyler.
I'm sorry.
Well, we specifically had a policy that you could not put up on social media these weird makeup. Because, like,
did that happen after my boot? Because I did not know about that before the boot.
I think you may have made your boots before the policy. But then we're, Thunderbound 6 months long. I don't remember what
I don't remember
I
either.
didn't know you were doing that. Yeah. But we'd had all these issues where people would do special makeups and even for like, special customers or whatever. And then we'd post them on the old Instagram and, like, oh, where do I get that? And I'm like, actually, I don't know.
You can't.
Sorry.
If you go look back in the history, we offered a 5-inch boot at one point. Like,
just true.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
True.
That was my
true. So you're borrowing from like the whole historic catalog.
Sure. Yeah.
I gotcha. Okay.
So I don't get in trouble. Yeah.
But no, back to the question. So as a special run, I don't know. I like to look. I tend to be the leather picker, and so I will go to the tanneries usually, and we'll kind of look through their samples, and oftentimes I find the best leathers on just their production floor, and I will be like, oh, that's interesting. Like Horween's always fun for this because they tend to have the most variation, but Seidel is great too. Like that's where we found the Mahogany 64 that's coming out, and then on the Horween side, like, saw samples of Cypress, like the gray Cypress sold really well. And I was like, okay, well, this is a pretty fun leather to work with for the team back on the floor. And
it's great.
It's a very pretty leather. And so after kind of deciding so Cypress is essentially like a replacement for Dublin, at least at the tannery level, because Dublin's so hard to work with. And so I was like, okay, well, we can try this out. And it's funny, this leather, it's a subtle thing because it looks very distressed. I talked about this last time, and it's very distressed. But when you last it gets a little more uniform. But how do you feel like yours are aging?
They're great. Yeah, I mean it's brown, but it's like you can get more of the scratches and stuff. It's not going to get super dark or anything, but it's getting like shinier. And just like the wear and tear, kind of like, it's getting distressed by wearing it. Reminds me of like a shinier, glossier Predator.
Okay.
Leather is kind of what it is.
Okay.
So kind of.
Yeah, it's a cool color.
I'm wearing them right now.
Yeah.
You're
wearing
stretch my feet up here.
All free Nick swag today, aren't you? You got the free Iron Lace hoodie. You got the
boot camp T-shirt,
jeans. That
nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Even the
hat,
jeans, double knee.
Every single thing. I bought my socks and
at least you bought your socks.
Undergarments.
We
thank
you. On the special runs, typically they're more, I would say, polarizing colors. So like right now we're bringing in samples of some new double stuff colors in like a blue. And what would you
Cobalt is what we got in, and then it's like a candy red.
Yeah.
It's like double stuff being double stuff. It's like a dark red, but then you bend it and it's kind of so like vibrant.
Tan.
It looks
burgundy.
Like
it's weird.
Like
it's kind of interesting when you last it.
The cobalt, there's a navy coming too, right?
Yes.
I'm interested to see what that looks like.
So the cobalt's pretty dark. I think the navy is kind of what I was after.
I was hoping for almost like a black.
Yeah, well, so that's when I was talking to Matt, and he was like, "Oh, I think it's going to be too dark. Like you won't have any color coming through." And I was like, "Actually, that's kind of what I want. Like,
right.
It'll start to peek through over time."
Yeah.
So we'll see how that one looks when we get that. We just have the cobalt and the I think it's a purple.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I was trying to remember. I remember you said there was another color.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't look purple, but I think that's what it started.
Was it a violet or like I forget what color you said it was.
I don't. I think it was he called it purple.
Oh, okay.
And like because when you double stuff the stuff, it tends to get much more saturated and changes color pretty well. But so that would be an example of stuff we would do for the special runs. Also, difficult to work with stuff like
double stuff,
horse.
Horse,
or particularly boardy, or like Dublin is an example on the other end of the spectrum where it's so soft that it's actually very stretchy and kind of difficult to work with. So anything that's difficult to work with one way or the other, or polarizing, would be kind of example of a special run. New potential options. I think you look at the marketplace and you're like, okay, oftentimes I feel like it's a balance between having a core offering that like people kind of come to expect, but also not something that everybody else is doing, you know? And so I try and like find a middle ground there. So that's kind of example of like with the Mahogany 64, I hope to replace walnut with that on the work leather side, just because walnut's like very ubiquitous and frankly not as exciting. Yeah. Anything to add to that?
In the same vein, like the 64 brown double shot that we're playing with right now.
Oh yeah.
I think that one potential for it to be a regular offering, like comparing our British tan brown CXL and then even like British tan double shot, it stands out on its own.
Yep.
I think it's a really nice light brown color.
That looks really good.
It's really, really nice.
Yeah.
We've got a couple over there that are being photoed for Friday's launch.
Yep.
So yeah, they look really good. It's a nice color, but that's another one where it was like, this is cool. It's special to us, but also we make sure it's different from what everyone else has. And it really has its own lane, because there are some limited runs we've done in the past, some that are currently running that don't stand out enough. Like there's some like Predator Whiskey I think could have done a little bit better, but it's very similar to a couple other leathers we've got. So it's, we want stuff that stands on its own a bit.
Like the grays did really well this year. Yeah. It was kind of the year of the gray. And I think, there's only so many colors that are like transferable across lots of different uses, but also unique, because like everybody's got brown stuff, everybody's got black stuff, everybody's got burgundy stuff. So gray is another, kind of earth tone that goes with a lot of different things.
That cypress gray is great.
Love
Loved working with it, like with small goods too.
Yeah, we did the cypress gray, we did the
Predator
slate,
steel,
and the Predator steel.
Yeah.
I think the cypress gray was probably
that was the most popular. Yeah.
Although the slate double stuff is really interesting. I hope we get more photos up of that.
There's that one pair that's like almost turned around.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Becca's doing that too.
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Yep.
It's neat.
Okay, next question. Can we get existing boots rebuilt with a Thermalast that didn't come that way originally? What a hot topic we have here at Nick's Boots.
Lucas?
Maybe. It's doable. You can place the order. Just put it in the notes. The problem comes down to what works with what, which is what we're running into a lot. We've added a lot of new things. Thermalast, 360 stitch, the Sierra sole, and a lot of those things don't go together. If you throw a Thermalast on a boot, the toe gets bigger, which means some soles don't fit on it.
Yep.
A Thermalast on a 360 we're finding is especially hard because it makes that footprint even wider.
Yep. We are working on some additional soles from an alternative supplier. I did talk to Vibram about this. Vibram's just not really maybe as customizable, at least for a business of our size as maybe they were in the past. And so they've really tightened up their inventory and what they're willing to make. And so they do tend to bias really towards those kind of mainline widths and even don't go quite as long as kind of I expected them to be able to on anything but like the really popular sizes. So like the lugs are a little easier to work with. The mini vibe, is that what or am I mistaken?
430 is actually like the most difficult.
Okay, 430 is the worst.
V-bar and lug are the two that are.
V-bar are better. Yeah. Okay, right.
Yeah.
And then the wedges. And so we should have some solutions around the wedges and the Sierra-like soles, but maybe not quite as flexible on the rubber side.
Yeah. 430 and half soles are kind of the two that we don't have a working solution for right now.
Yep. So what you're going to see on the site is we're actually going to revise the merchandising a bit. And so you'll basically see the smaller. So basically we're going to cap the sizes on the mainstream offerings, like where you could get whatever you want, like maybe around 12 and a half. And then we'll have kind of a big and tall section, which will be more upfront about what options work with what, just as we've discovered this as we've like gone through the options and they get kicked back from production and like, hey, I can't really make this work. And then we're like, oh, okay. Apologies for that. We didn't know that some of these issues were gonna crop up, but we're going to try and be more transparent about what's possible.
One of the toughest calls to make is calling a customer after waiting 6-7 months for a pair of boots and I'm like, hey, your boot is pretty much done. It's just looking for a sole. But because you're over a size 12 and you picked this option and this option, I've got maybe one sole that works for you.
Yep.
And that's just really tough. So cutting that down so you know what you can get up front.
We will have we will have more options available.
And the wedge soles will be
with this additional supplier base.
Really excited for the new soles. I think more size options, but also I think just in general, better soles. We've been testing them out. We've had a number of people trying them in office and externally testing them, even doing, one-to-one comparison of like a Vibram version on the left and this new one on the right. Yeah. And the new one's been performing much better.
Yeah, this is essentially the Christie analog I've been talking about on the forums. So that will be coming here shortly. Okay, still hoping for a large Nick's duffel bag someday. Anything to share on that front? Luke?
I don't have anything to share on it now. We've talked about it. It was on my wish list.
The duffel is not currently. So we have some bags that will be coming out. Yeah. The duffel's not one of them.
It'd be cool.
It's a cool idea, and we can definitely add that to the roadmap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd love to.
Yep,
it's my dream bag. So,
okay, what weight would you use? It'd have to be a lot lighter.
Yeah,
because it's gonna be heavy.
Yeah, which is what I would want. I don't know, 6-7 ounces. It's kind of what I would want. Oh. Yeah, honestly. Okay. Yeah,
I mean,
I want something heavy duty.
3.5, and it's heavy as heck.
It's lined, so
fair.
Yeah,
but. Yeah, I mean,
okay.
I'd be down with it.
That'd be
okay.
I've talked to some people online about it. Like, I think that's too thick. But I'm like,
being an indestructible.
It's what we do here, right?
Yeah.
So
does have true. He does have a point, but
yeah.
All right, we'll see.
The indestructible.
That would definitely be my apocalypse go bag if that's what we made.
I guess. I want to order Blackout Overlander for my second pair. Is DHL international delivery available for Christmas quick ship? We just signed a contract with DHL. So we're working on integrating those options into the site. I don't know if it'll make it for Christmas quick ship, but it will be available shortly. So we are working on that path and hope to deliver much less expensive shipping rates to you guys and more reliable delivery than I think people have seen with like USPS.
Yeah, I will say just in general, I mean, we're already putting those in. If you're international, I can't make any promises in terms of the shipping, with customs and everything else.
DHL, we could. I mean, DHL does tend to handle that stuff a lot better, so maybe we could get a little more predictable on when that stuff will arrive. But I think we just signed it yesterday, so we'll be adding that here shortly.
Nice.
What are the new wedge soles you're going to use? Notice there's no Christie's or we have some 2021s. But.
Yeah, so we have 2021 sand on the website right now. So yes, we will have a very similar sole option to the Christie. We will be able to do different color options as well. We will have another wedge sole that is going to be a dual density PU wedge sole. So it will be like a normal wedge, and then the bottom skin will be a thicker density PU with like more of a tread. So it'll be like a work wedge. And then there's a couple other ones we're looking at as well. I'm working on colors and sizes in the first order, so it should be coming really soon. They're really cool soles. Something unique to us, which I'm really excited about. But yeah, we should actually be able to do more than we have in the past because, like you just mentioned, we have a little more flexibility with this supplier, so we can do different colors and fun stuff.
A little hungrier. Mm-hmm. Okay, some questions from Reddit. And let's stay away from PNWs on this one. What curated boot collection would you want build if you had to start with no nicks boots? Let's say max of 3 boots.
Is this... They're asking what nicks boots I would want.
No,
right?
No nicks.
No nicks. Oh, this is a weird question.
Wait.
Well, actually, it is kind of confusing.
I think it's saying if you had to get rid of all of your nicks, which nicks would you get? Like starting over.
Okay, let's go with that.
Okay. Because I don't
I like that better.
Like anything else.
Okay, let's start. Let's go.
Okay. Do you want to go first?
Sure. I would go with a Builder Pro.
Classic.
In 1960. Well, I like black. I'd probably go black. I really like my black Builder Pros. Probably 64 black, though. A little easier break in. Natural dressing. And I'd get white stitching. No Technora. Then I would get a Traveler. 6-inch. No, I'd get an 8-inch Traveler. 8-inch Traveler. Bang.
Yeah.
Oh, man. What leather would I get? I really love my old tobacco leather.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
But we don't really sell that.
That
And
pulled
even
me
the
into
new
nicks.
tobacco is not as good as the old tobacco.
That's
the problem. Like White's has tobacco, and it's not that. No offense, but it's not. It's not.
Last time we got it, and
It's
I
not
think
this.
we had to send a bunch of it back.
Yeah. You know what I would try? I'd want to try is, so Horween has this Shackleford leather that's basically waterproof CXL. I would try that.
Okay.
I bet that would be sweet. But probably just like a normal brown, like maybe a Predator. But you couldn't do that. Probably a brown CXL.
That's good. Classic.
And then I would I really like an Overlander.
You're just naming my boot collection kind of right now, almost. Except for the Builder Pro.
Yeah, I'd probably get an Overlander in like a rough out brown. Nice. Although I've loved the black mock toes that have been getting shared on Reddit too. So I'm gonna switch that. The last one, I'm gonna get an 8-inch mock in a black CXL.
8-inch mock black CXL.
B-bar.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a fancy one.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a fancy one.
Nice.
Do you want to go?
Lucas.
Do you want me to go?
There's 3?
Yep.
Okay. First one, what I think is honestly one of the most underrated models we sell, one of our oldest models, a Ranger.
Yeah. Fair.
8-inch Ranger, 55 last.
What leather?
It'd be a rough out. It'd be an all rough out, either 64 brown or maybe black to dress it up a little bit. But I think our like work leather rough out is just such a classic look on like a more sleeker profile, like dressier boot almost. Like I would do either a Ranger or a Robert, but I really like the logger heel
See, an
style.
8-inch Robert.
8-inch Robert.
8-inch Robert hits.
Yeah. I just really, I love the Woodsman, the logger heel. It's like, yeah, I don't have a Ranger and I'm always like, why haven't I done this yet? But so a Ranger for like casual wear, I'd have to get my boot. I'd have to do the Turnbull for hiking.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, an LTD would be nice.
And then I'd probably have to go with the classic Builder Pro, I think.
Yeah.
In the 67.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Throwing curveballs here. Like,
So a 55, a Turnbull on the H&W, maybe with the Delta arch.
Okay.
When we figure that out.
What do you mean when we figure that out?
Well, on the 360, there's some extra that we have to do to get that to work. And then, a classic Builder Pro, maybe either 64 brown rough out again, or maybe walnut.
No walnut. Okay.
no walnut.
Luke.
Okay. I think I'd get the pair I'm wearing right now. I wish I would have got a Falcon without that toe cap, and I wish I would have got it in brown.
Okay, so the moderately customized Cypress.
So I'm wearing a
Italian
brown,
brown
just a
Falcon.
straight up brown Falcon right now. So I want my LL64. Can I do that?
Sure.
Okay. Here's the curveball. Wish I would have got a Builder Pro on the 55 in our old chocolate. I like our old chocolate color.
Which old chocolate?
Which one? When it was red or when it was
When I
purple?
started in 2019 or like early 2020.
64 brown is so close to chocolate.
It's so much better.
You see these classic boots come back in that chocolate color and they're just gorgeous. They're
I
gorgeous.
disagree.
Yeah. I love them. it just ages so well.
I think I'm gonna
how
change
many browns are too many browns?
I only
We already have
one.
like 10 browns.
I know.
I'm gonna change my
Chocolate's
answer.
red.
Ranger 67 last.
Ranger.
Builder Pro 55 with a mock toe.
Can I throw a special extra boot in here as well?
No,
No?
3 is enough.
Cutting like 25 down to 3 is a really tough discussion to have.
Okay, this won't be mine, but I always think the coolest boots coming back are the Packer boots.
Packers are
Yeah,
pretty
Packers
cool.
are cool. Nick always looks really cool.
A
in
worn
Packers.
Packer
Yeah.
is like the coolest looking boot.
It's one of those boots where it's like, that's really cool, but I don't know that I'm cool enough.
Yeah,
to wear
exactly.
it.
Yeah. I can't pull off an 8-inch Packer, but it's the most cool boot out there, I feel like.
Okay, great question. Great question. What boot style and leather combination? Well, what boot style and leather combinations are your favorite, and why?
Style and color. I mean, we just kind of went over that.
Well, I think in general. So, what Packer colors do you like?
The color of the Packer? I don't care.
What
Chocolate.
leather?
Oh,
For some reason, I will
Work
say
leather.
we just gave chocolate a hard time, but for some reason, maybe it's just because we did more photos of it, or I don't know. But chocolate with the Packer with the chocolate leather, chocolate smooth for some reason.
How about we talk about leathers we sell?
Then 64 brown.
Okay.
64 brown.
I mean, that's you got a Packer behind you there that inspired the 64 brown.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, definitely the 1964 brown. It's gorgeous.
I think
Love
a
it.
black rough out Builder Pro looks awesome.
Yes. Yep.
Luke, I know you're more of a heritage guy.
Yep. I like a natural leather.
Okay.
That's my favorite.
So like natural Dublin or natural double stuff.
Double stuffed, English bridle, just natural veg tan, straight up.
Okay.
Like they're all my favorite.
But what boot? What boot do you think embodies? Is it the LL64?
That or a Falcon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
6-inch, 5-inch height.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I'm
No,
at.
it's great. I'm glad.
Natural Chrome XL.
So
like,
L64 and the Falcon. natural Dublin or natural double stuff.
I don't like natural
in the
Dublin.
Falcon.
I don't like that at all.
Why?
How it feels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very wrinkly.
Black rough out on the Builder Pros. And
Robert, medium brown, veg tan.
Okay. It's a good boot. With all the different types of leather, how does the treatment care of the leather change? Waxed, smooth, rough out, weather shield. I don't think it does that much.
Not much. It's more the end result changes.
Sure.
So like obviously a rough out, if you wax it down, it's gonna get waxed down.
Yeah, but you can always brush it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm the worst person to ask this.
I
have not treated my boots in 10 years.
Right. You have that pair of Builder Pros that you have not put
wearing them right now.
Drop of oil on.
No. They look fine. They look great.
It's insane. I take care of my boots, but I do it in the lowest effort way possible. I will brush them. I will
brush.
water and soap when I want to clean them, and then it's one wax, really whichever one I have in closest reach of myself.
Yeah.
On whatever I'm conditioning.
And I think we always say less is more.
Yeah.
Here, weather shield. I mean, I don't think you need to do a ton to it, because it's already got the waxes and oils kind of impregnated into it.
Yeah.
Got to brush.
Just make sure.
Just brush it.
Yeah.
Good question. Maybe a future blog post about this or something like that.
I would almost say like cleaning, like
Never clean my boots.
Really?
Never clean my boots.
See, I would argue cleaning is more important than conditioning. I guess it depends in the conditions you're in. If you're using them for work boots, I would be more concerned with getting the dirt and mud and grime off the boots than throwing wax and oils.
My last pair, no water touched it. Just Smith's, a horsehair brush and a nylon brush. That was it.
I've seen so many pairs of work boots come back to us with just like layers and layers of gross, dirty open-offs because people just throw open-offs on and never clean the stuff off.
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah.
How would you fill in gaps in a heel stack?
I can tell you how they do it.
What do we do?
Leather dust.
Yeah.
Wax.
We'll use
small
wax
gaps.
and leather dust.
We use wax and leather dust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some glue. Some
it depends on
dust.
how big it is, actually.
It's kind of the same thing they do in woodworking.
Yeah.
So like when I'm sanding and there's like a big gap in the heel, sometimes it's because it's just separated a little bit. So we take a hammer to it, hammer it back in, kind of push that leather in, and then resand it, and then that usually gets rid of
We'll
it.
even re-glue it too.
Yeah.
Was that?
Like we'll put a little glue in there
and then
redo it and then buff it off. Yeah.
For the big ones, definitely.
Yeah. So wax and or glue.
Pretty much.
What's the best way to care for leather laces? I can't get a month or two out of a set of leather laces. That is crazy to me. I have had leather laces last me years.
I think it depends.
It's a little bit of a
Crapshoot.
roll of the dice. Yeah. Sometimes you get a pair and they snap in a week. Sometimes you have a pair that last for years.
Yeah.
I've heard some people say like wax your laces, like put a little bit of Oben-Offs between your fingers and pull it through. And I've heard other people say that's a terrible idea and that's going to make them.
Well, but it's always like it's the abrasion from the eyelets,
right?
Or not the eyelets from the speed hooks, in my opinion, that gets them. So I do feel like over time, especially if you have speed hooks, they are going to fail at some point. I've tied mine back together several times instead of
in emergency.
I'm like the worst with shoes. Like I literally, I'm using laces that they're tied together.
What I'll do if
want me to go get you a pair?
If the lace breaks high enough, I just like pull it through and recenter it, and it's like maybe you don't get to the top two hooks, but you can still tie it.
Yeah, I've had the cotton laces break as well. So
yeah,
it's not just leather.
Yeah, so I don't know is the answer. I'm sorry.
You can try some Oben-Offs. I've heard that works really well. I see that a lot with wildland firefighters. They'll use Oben-Offs on it, which gives it softens it up a little bit if they're dry. It really
of course,
depends.
some people also say that makes them fail.
Yeah,
I would see. I don't know if this is stuff everybody does, but Keith would just stretch the heck out of them before like even shipping them out to make sure they wouldn't break. I feel like
I do that.
Well, we
store.
do that with the you put
step
it
on it.
you just yank on those things like, oh, that's good.
Yeah. Well, that's our very scientific testing.
Yeah, exactly.
They're good. We do that. Yeah. Brandle questions. Will there be high arched dress boots on the Brandle line? I could see us integrating the Delta Arch technology into the Brandle line.
I could see down the line at some point. Yeah.
I do think I would look at the Brandle as like our first foray into here and a toehold, a foothold, hopefully. And you look for more expanded options as they, as we build up that brand and capacity, frankly. So not to start, but I do think we could probably introduce like a Delta Arch version.
Yeah.
So
we're planning to have multiple different types of models. So there's probably a place in there at some point for like a taller heel, higher arch boot.
Yep.
I don't see that happening in the near future. Sometime next year, maybe, depending on what we want to do first. But yeah, Delta Arch maybe could be something cool.
That's a cool idea.
How did you develop the Brandle boot last, and what is it like? We were looking very like European inspired. It's got a pretty narrow heel and a wider forefoot, which I feel like has become in vogue. Like if you look at some of like the Alden last that they're so well known for, and this one is kind of designed in that vein, and will hopefully provide a very comfortable, where your cuboid bone is and everything. It's going to be not very accommodating, but does have a narrower kind of heel portion, so you can kind of get locked in. But really trying to look at some of the more comfortable lasts that we saw in Europe, and making those, reproducing those over here. It's supposed to be, the goal is to make it a very classic dress look. So it's got a relatively low profile on the toe, a nice wide forefoot for extra comfort, but is also fairly sleek looking compared to anything we offer in the next line.
Yeah, I haven't tried them on. You've tried them on. How do they feel?
Great.
Yeah,
really?
I've got them on right now.
Awesome.
It's
nice.
Yeah, it's a width narrower than I would typically get. So the first couple days, I mean.
Well, because you're a tweener, because we only have them in D widths.
Yeah, exactly.
So we don't know if an E would have been better.
E probably would have, just based on how it feels, an E would have been better, and that's what I typically wear. But a D width was like, I've broken in.
I was the exact same. I'm like an 11E in the Knicks and the 11E.
It took
D in the Brandles, and it actually fit pretty well.
Took a day or
11C,
so walking
11D would probably fit me.
Probably.
But I mean, it did fit really well in the heel. That was one of the first things I noticed.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, even though it's got that, what do you call it, the almond toe shape.
Yep.
My toes don't feel constrained in any way. They fit really well.
Yep.
It's really comfortable now.
Nice. That's
Having
cool.
the full lining too, definitely noticed a difference.
Lining is
And
great.
we've got a special like there's a heel pocket made into the lining, so it really cups your heel well.
Dang.
Kelsey, any more questions? Any questions you have for me?
No. How's your day?
I forgot you were there. I forgot you were there. Yeah. You're so quiet.
It's good. It's good. We're always get a little anxious going into this 4-day period. We're trying some new things some new approaches that we haven't tried before. You won't see as many sales or discounts, maybe just on accessories or something, but we're gonna be launching a lot of new stuff. That's pretty crazy. Yeah,
It's exciting.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean this is a lot of new stuff. Really cool.
yep.
This is going like Saturday, Sunday, this weekend, right?
Sorry, what?
Huh?
This episode,
Saturday.
Saturday.
right? So,
You'll see it.
so we've got the Italian brown cypress. We've got the 64 brown double shot, the Parkhurst collab, all that,
Brandle,
all that live
yeah.
Brandle.
Brandle. Oh, yeah, I have to go make some of that stuff right now.
Yeah. Brandle will also be a new accessory line too. With some higher end leathers
Some
and
belts, some wallets, some
Luke
bags.
being even more careful with his finishing. Yeah.
Really excited for those bags you've been working on.
Yeah. It's all good. Everything stresses me out. Make sure everything looks good.
Yeah. I'm sure it will.
Yeah. Yep. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Belt's going to be great.
It's going to be great, guys.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Lucas, thank you for joining.
Of course.
Luke, thank you for joining.
Absolutely.
K-Back, thank you for joining.
Anytime.
Listeners, thanks for making it this far. Please rate us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Google. We'd love to hear from you in the future, and we'll keep doing these Q&As. And thanks for listening. Talk to you later. Bye.
Sounds good.
All right.
I thought we were starting a slow clap.
No.